Welcome to Drew Manchu's Comic Book Reviews. I'm your host, Drew Manchu, and today we're going to be taking a look at X-Men number 2. Jonathan Hickman has recently turned the X-Men universe upside down with House of X and Powers of 10, a 12-issue maxi series that reset the entire landscape for our merry mutants. With this new status quo, the X-Men universe is headed off in 6 separate directions. The first of the bunch to drop was X-Men. This Hickman-led title seems to focus on Cyclops and his view of the Krakoan lifestyle. This issue starts with Cyclops coming home and seeing his kids, Rachel and Cable, just hanging out in the habitat. Cable asks what's up, and apparently the day before, a second island appeared 100 miles off the southern coast of Krakoa. Nobody knows how or why, but Krakoa is moving to join this island. 20 minutes ago, Aurora and Northstar reported after a flyover that the island appears to be full of hostile giant beasts, and he references an other place that they don't normally speak of. And Cyclops decides that it's time to bond with the kids over some monster hunting. We get a note on the title page that the mutants around the world are flocking to the nation of Krakoa, but after the assassination of Charles Xavier, their sense of safety has been shattered, and the island is on lockdown. If you want to know more about the assassination of Charles Xavier, you can check out the review that I did of X-Force number 1, right up there. So this island appears, and Krakoa is instinctually drawn to it. But they have no idea how to communicate with Krakoa because Doug Ramsey has gone off into space with the New Mutants. And if you want to know more about the New Mutants, you can check that out in the review I did on New Mutants number 1, right up there. Cyclops expresses guilt for letting Doug and the New Mutants go out into space, and Cable starts inventorying the ammunition that he brought with him to the island. But as they approach, he realizes that he brought absolutely nowhere near enough. As Rachel scans the island, she finds higher intelligent life is located in the gaping maw of this monster. We get the kids and their dad bonding as they traipse through the island, coming across herbivores, and finally a giant tentacle monster that actually eats these cattle. Then we flash to the Arak Maw, where we're shown a young man talking to a portal. What appears to be his mother is telling him that he is not ready because all he has known is war. And when he asks what he should do, she says to find him and follow him. We then flash back to Cyclops and the kids. They're currently riding the cattle-like creatures, and they come across this young boy. They're having trouble communicating initially, and then Cable offers a gift. But in true Cable fashion, it was a grenade, and the curiosity of this creature causes it to set the grenade off. It's after this offense that the creature reveals himself to be a summoner. As he summons the beasts through the maw, we get some great action panels of the trio fighting the monsters, and we finally get to the obvious conclusion, which is Rachel downloading Krakoan into his mind. The communication starts and the action stops, and we get some questions between the summoner and Cyclops. Cyclops states that he does not want to fight, and he just wants to know if the two islands coming together is going to be a problem. The summoner asks him if he loves someone. Cyclops says that's a complicated question, but for the sake of the argument, yes. And the summoner says, then you understand. Just watch. And they look down from their elevation and see the islands meshing together. The roots intertwine, the land masses join, and now the two are one, as they should be, as they always were. The summoner turns to walk away. Cyclops screams out to him, hey, where are you going? What happens now? He says he's not going anywhere, because now I live here, and I live here because he lives here. And later that night, we see the summoner wandering in the woods, where he comes across Apocalypse. Apocalypse remarks that they've never met, but he'd recognize his seed anywhere. The summoner says that he wanted to stay, and he would have stayed. But the enemy has come, and though the walls hold, and for now your children hold the point, soon Araco will fall. We then learn that the summoner's mother was the original war, and as Apocalypse embraces the summoner, he says that he's meant to save all of his children, those of Krakoa and those of Araco. So guys, I don't really know how to feel about this issue of X-Men here. It opens up a whole lot of new possibilities for where this story is going long term. We finally get to explore Apocalypse and the two islands. The Summoner as the son of war is kind of a cool deal there too. And the infographic links the Summoner and Arakko to other worlds, so that's going to bring us full circle into Excalibur. The title page mentions that Xavier has been assassinated, and that happened in X-Force, so we're getting a fully connected universe. I like that continuity, but we get no mention of Xavier's death in this book at all. The fact that they're brushing it off makes me feel like maybe they can't bring him back. Maybe they're not gonna bring him back. Maybe this is just part of the plan for Moira, and maybe it's a wrench in the whole works, and we're gonna see something different unfold. I'm sure that eventually they'll get back to the Orcus stuff, but I'm not really a huge fan of leaving me hanging another issue on that. And although I like the tone and the fun of this issue, I'm not quite sure I enjoy the characterizations of Rachel and Cable. I found it fun to read, and I did like the dialogue, but I don't know how X-Men purists are really going to feel about this. Not that X-Men purists were really a big fan of young Cable in the first place. I think the Summoner is pretty cool, but this androgynous, ectoplasmic, glowing being, it's just par for the course with Hickman. But I do want to see where this goes, tying into the Four Horsemen of Apocalypse and the Arakko Krakoa big deal. The action in this book was great, and the art by Lynell Francis Yu really complements that. I thought the colors were fantastic. Even though the big fight in this book is one of those classic comic book misunderstandings, I thought it was kind of stupid that their first move, when they couldn't understand each other, wasn't Rachel psychically imprinting their language in his head. I guess we got 2 extra pages out of it and some really great art, but comic book trope 101 there. I love Cyclops' answer to his question, do you love somebody? He says it's a complicated question, but in the interest of time, yes, I love one specific somebody, which means he loves more than one specific somebody, which is kind of a weird deal, because if he's going to be allowed to do that free love thing, and then Jean's going to do that free love thing, and we're going to get that Wolverine three-way thing, who knows if that's a thing, but there are more allusions to some polyamorous activity. We'll see what happens there. And as we see the islands join, I love the joke about basically the islands getting it on, and Cable says, what was that? And Cyclops says, that's exactly how all my best mistakes happened. The one thing I'm a little confused on here is Apocalypse is still wearing his armor, whereas he is no longer wearing that in Excalibur. But in Excalibur, did we know that Xavier had been shot? Because in this one we do already. I think that might be a little bit of an editorial faux pas. We haven't gotten many of those so far in this new X-Men universe. We'll see how they explain this one. I love the profile image of the island with the new dark portion having a cloud over it, and we get a new map in the infographics. I love that Hickman has kept up, and this entire X team has kept up with the infographics in all the books. That's been an enjoyable piece, allowing me to understand more of what's going on in this story. This book was kind of hard to judge because it didn't give me enough of what I thought I was gonna get. It gave me way more than I thought I was gonna get in other categories of this story, so maybe I just need to wait and see how Hickman paces things out. The X-Men universe is past the point of mind-blowing, world-breaking, earth-shattering events every single issue, so I'm excited to just kind of settle into this run and see how things unfold here and there. This is a super ambitious idea by Jonathan Hickman. It's so far so good in my opinion. X-Men number 2 I thought was better than the first issue. Had a lot more action and a lot more going on. It's a 4 out of 5, guys. 4 out of 5. This is the series you need to be getting on. Pick this one up. Gang, here at the Comic Core, we are giving away a Marvel Legends 14.5-inch Hulk. Absolutely free for you guys, and this is a super easy contest to enter. Should be a card popping up right there, and that's going to take you to the video where you can learn about how to enter. You can enter on this video as well. Just go ahead and hit those comments, and make sure your comment includes the hashtag ComicCoreSmash.